what really struck us and why we went all in on this whole blockchain movement is we just realized there's a fundamental problem in the world.
Are you one of the countless people at the edge of their seats waiting for Judge Annalisa Torres's verdict on the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit? If so, you can start relaxing your grip on the couch, as there seems to be a new update on the case. As you know, the case has dragged on too long for anyone's liking. In fact, Ripple's CEO Brad Garlinghouse revealed that the firm has spent almost $200 million defending the case brought against it by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. Garlinghouse shared this information at the Dubai FinTech Summit early this month. He stated that the U.S. is stuck compared with the regulatory progress of the United Arab Emirates Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority and the recent Markets in Crypto Assets MiCA bill in the European Union. He further shared that by the time the case is decided, Ripple will have spent $200 million defending itself against the lawsuit, which, from its very beginning, doesn't make a lot of sense. In a message to SEC Chair Gary Gensler, Garlinghouse expressed regret about the U.S. falling behind significantly as Ripple expands to the United Arab Emirates. According to him, the tough thing about the situation is having a country that has put politics ahead of policy. Garlinghouse said one of his first pieces of advice that he gives entrepreneurs when they ask him about getting something started is, "If I were you, I would not start in the United States." He believes many U.S.-based companies and U.S. public companies would agree. When asked about the U.S. needing a clear regulatory framework for crypto, Garlinghouse said the SEC must understand that the vast majority of people working in crypto and blockchain are good actors who want to stay within the rules of the road but need them defined. As is known to everybody, the case has been going on for 2.5 years now and has created headwinds in the U.S. market. According to Garlinghouse, a decision is expected from the judge sometime in the next 3 to 6 months. So when can we actually expect an end to this highly talked about case? While the cryptocurrency community is still waiting for the conclusion of the court standoff between the SEC and Ripple, a legal expert and amicus curiae for the blockchain company has slammed the watchdog's schizophrenic theory, insane argument, and schizophrenic defense. A few days back, through a Twitter thread, John E. Deaton was commenting on an earlier tweet by Stuart Alderati, in which Ripple's chief legal officer criticized the SEC's inconsistent stance on what constitutes a common enterprise, as evident in the Revac Realty Corp versus SEC case from 1994. Let's not forget the SEC's schizophrenic theory regarding what constitutes the common enterprise in the case. First, Ripple was the common enterprise. Ripple forced them to concede XRP holders receive no interest in Ripple whatsoever by owning XRP. So what did the SEC do? Deaton said in a mid-May tweet. In this case, the court said that, without a common enterprise, it matters not whether the fortunes of investors are tied to the efforts of the promoter, and that the Howey test is not so easily satisfied. As Alderati observed in his tweet, stating that this case exposes yet another SEC sleight of hand. Because of this, Deaton argued that the SEC shifted its theory and said the entire XRP ecosystem constituted the common enterprise, including all XRP holders in the world, all exchanges that list XRP, and all the vendors or companies that accept XRP as a form of payment. Deaton, being the Deaton we all know, he didn't end at that. He said that to force such a ridiculously overboard claim, the SEC intended to use a hired gun in the form of an expert witness testifying that all XRP holders must rely on Ripple, but that XRP holders stopped that nonsense, and the judge excluded this expert's bullshit opinion. He even went as far as to call out the SEC on its insane argument and the ever-changing schizophrenic defense, stressing, so what did the SEC argue next? It once again shifted its common enterprise theory and abandoned the entire XRP ecosystem theory to a new theory. XRP itself represents the common enterprise. It appears that Deaton isn't alone in this notion. Lawyer Bill Morgan agreed with Deaton, voicing his opinion that if there was any justice, the court should hit the SEC right out of the park for not satisfying the common enterprise prong alone, let alone its problems in other aspects of the case. In light of this, pro-crypto lawyer Bill Morgan recently took to Twitter to speculate on how the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission aims to prove XRP as a security. Attorney Morgan's analysis was in reaction to Ripple's chief legal officer Stuart Alderati's remark on how the SEC failed to successfully equate the common interest to a common enterprise in the 1946 Howey case. According to Alderati, the SEC unsuccessfully argued in the Supreme Court's Howey brief that an investment in a common enterprise was unnecessary as long as there was a common interest. He asserted that the SEC was wrong in 1946 and is still wrong to date, adding that common interest does not equate to the common enterprise. Reacting to the post, Morgan said the SEC wants to massively stretch the Howey test to cover crypto, since the test was intended to be flexible by the court. He shared that the SEC wants to expand the test to cover crypto by an extensive view of common enterprise, which has prompted the regulator to focus on common while avoiding the word enterprise. Morgan further noted that the technique has made it difficult for anyone to pinpoint the common enterprise in the SEC versus Ripple case. Morgan shared an excerpt from the SEC's motion for summary judgment, where it argues that Ripple confirmed the alignment of its interest with that of XRP holders. Morgan added that the SEC will desperately switch to the fungible argument if its first argument does not suffice. He then proceeded to share evidence showing how the SEC argued that all units of XRP are fungible with each other, and their prices move simultaneously. Overall, Morgan said that if Judge Annalisa Torres allows the SEC to get away with equating the common enterprise to the common interest, the securities regulator will use the same argument against other crypto assets. He added to say that the SEC has already started attacking the crypto industry with the fungible argument, as seen in its complaint against crypto exchange Bitrex regarding Algorand ALGO. Meanwhile, Deaton summarized the SEC Ripple lawsuit with his considerations and opinions. He said that Ripple has been fulfilling financial settlements for transactions for years, but the SEC suit regards every sale of XRP as something similar to an ICO sale. This view of Ripple's business, Deaton isn't willing to accept. In fact, Deaton argued that the SEC has overstated its case to a ridiculous degree. He thusly mocked the Securities and Exchange Commission's claim on XRP sales. The SEC's XRP theory is so far-fetched, it travels through space and time into the future, capturing all possible future sales, even in faraway lands. The scope of the SEC's Howey argument has become so stretched that it is truly indefinable, in space or in time. At its worst, the SEC lawsuit against Ripple has failed to cite any legal authority or precedent to justify its definition of XRP as a security. Instead, Deaton says the Commission has asserted an overly broad, essentially meaningless definition of security applies to XRP. At this point, it's pretty obvious that Deaton isn't alone in his grievances against the SEC. In fact, some say that Ripple XRP retail holders may be gearing up for a rally. According to Santiment, a behavior analytics platform for cryptocurrencies, the number of addresses holding 1 to 10 XRPs has reinforced their commitment to upholding the token's sustenance. Information from the on-chain platform showed that these retail SECs have been increasing their holdings since mid-April. A circumstance like this usually infers that holders had the school of thought that XRP could be in line for a recovery. Still, it is important to note that this speculation does not guarantee that the value of the token would not decline further. In fact, it was an entirely different situation for XRP whales. As of mid-May, addresses holding 1 million to 1 billion tokens had either remained the same or significantly decreased. This implied that whales do not share the same sentiment of a revival in the short term. As per transactions, the actions of these whales were not similar to the restraint not to accumulate. At press time, transactions within the $100,000 and $1 million range have had recurring highs since the last week of April. This hike suggests increased trading activity. Notably, Ripple has not failed to halt upgrades on the network while the firm was still battling its case with the US SEC. This was because on-chain data further confirmed the dedication, as shown by the development activity metric. While Ripple exhibited resilience amidst all these, the XRP community remains strong and optimistic for a favorable win sometime soon. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to be updated.